Hey, this is Eric Brandt with Autotrader, and I just drove my Honda Odyssey about 400 miles while pulling a trailer. This is the first time I've done any trailering with my Odyssey, and this trip got me wondering, is a minivan a good enough towing vehicle to replace your truck or your SUV? To find out the answer to that question and to hear more about my road trip, click on the link below and check out my column on autotrader.com/oversteer. Now this van is a 2007 Honda Odyssey Touring, and it has a 3.5 liter V6 which has a towing capacity of about 3,500 pounds. I don't know the exact weight of this trailer with the motorcycle in it, but I think it's around 1,200 pounds. The motorcycle you see here is a Zero DSR. It's an electric motorcycle and it doesn't have enough electric range to get it where I needed it to go by riding it, which is why I had to tow it. I had no problems at all hooking up the trailer to the Odyssey since my van is already equipped with a towing package. It wasn't any different than hooking up a trailer to a regular truck or SUV. So getting the trailer hooked up was no problem at all, but I found the towing experience in the Odyssey to be less than ideal. It's no secret that you don't actually need a truck for towing. There are a lot of regular cars that can tow. In fact, just today I saw a Mustang towing a fishing boat. Since minivans like this Odyssey are such good family cars, a lot of them come with towing packages in case you need to tow a small camper or a boat or something like that. The Odyssey is doing okay towing this trailer. I must say there are a few disappointments that I've experienced on this trip so far. The engine is working a little bit harder than I expected it to, just to pull what's a fairly small trailer and a fairly light load. On the highway, the van is shifting an awful lot, downshifting to speed up in places where it should be able to just stay in high gear. Fuel economy took a big hit with this trailer. Right now I'm averaging 15.4 mpg, which is a lot lower than usual, especially on the highway. The engine in this Odyssey has cylinder deactivation, so under light loads it can actually turn off a whole cylinder bank to save fuel. And it actually does that pretty often on the highway normally, but with this trailer I haven't seen that little eco mode light come on at all, so it's using all 6 cylinders all the time, and that isn't doing the fuel economy any favors. I can't say I'm too surprised that eco mode isn't turning on very much, but I was just driving a new GMC Sierra, and I was towing 2 ATVs with that in tow mode, and it was still turning off 4 cylinders more often than I expected, so that was kind of a nice surprise. So if you do get a real truck with cylinder deactivation, it can still turn off a few cylinders while it's towing. But to be fair, it is doing pretty well overall. It's not putting up too much of a fuss. I'm always very conscious that there's something back there. You know, when you're towing with a truck, sometimes you can actually forget that you have a trailer. The engine isn't overheating at all. I don't think the brakes have been overheating at all. So even though there are a few downsides to towing with a vehicle that's not exactly made for towing, it can still handle it pretty adequately. If you're only going to be towing once, maybe twice a year, a minivan would be adequate as long as what you're towing is within the maximum towing capacity. But if you're going to be towing with any regularity, you're going to want to spring for a real truck or an SUV. And when I say an SUV, I mean an SUV that's really properly equipped for towing. You probably shouldn't try this with a Chevy Trax with any regularity. Another thing to keep in mind is the fact that it's just me in here. If I had a van full of passengers and the trailer behind me, that would be asking an awful lot from this poor V6. Normally I'm very bullish on minivans, and I still think they're the ultimate family vehicle, but something like a Tahoe or an Expedition would just make more sense for frequent towing rather than something like an Odyssey or a Pacifica. So, is a minivan a good towing vehicle? Well, it's good enough. My Odyssey adequately towed this trailer about 400 miles with no problems at all, but it wasn't all that comfortable to tow. So a minivan would be good for occasional towing. If you're just going to pull a boat or a camper a couple times a year, or a trailer like this, it does just fine. But if you're going to tow with any regularity, you're going to want a real truck. If you enjoyed joining me on my motorcycle hauling adventure, like this video and subscribe to Autotrader for more.